Welcome back to the GTN show. Now, big news this week. Sadly, Ironman California got cancelled, which means, well, there is no showdown, or there was no showdown between Lionel, Jan and Gustav. However, there's news that the pro race is still going to go ahead. It's just moving elsewhere. So could the showdown still go on? We hope.
Exciting times. We've also got a lot of news this week. We've got Ray Rattersepp, who's over a third of the way into his 60 iron distance tries in 60 days. Also, the women's half marathon world record was removed from the record books due to a short course, and then just a couple of days later, a new world record was set anyway. We've also got the Xterra World Champs. They have been confirmed for December in Maui, along with the Xterra Trail World Champs.
We're going to start off by taking a look back at some things we've spotted on social media over the last 7 days. And rather apt after the cancellation of the Ironman over in Sacramento, Jan was trying to see the sort of light side, wasn't he, with this?
Yeah, he looked obviously quite disappointed on his stories, but having a bit of fun here. Yeah, very creative.
Yeah. I also saw he went to a basketball match, so he was really trying to make the most of his time.
Very cool. Next one, and with us guys going into a bit of a cross-country season at the moment here in the UK. I like this one. This is from America. All gas, no brakes.
Well, some pretty slick moves there. I think I could do with learning that, some of those skills from my cross country, because if I fall over, it just ends up like mud all over my face and pretty much stop dead. So.
Yeah, well, he styled it out massively. And then this next one, I thought was perhaps relevant for a lot of our viewers and a bit of a reminder for me every so often. One of the best runners in the world, Jobii, showing us how slow his easy runs really are.
Oh, I love it. And I mean, I ran this morning and then I saw that and I was thinking like, God, I was going so slowly. I was like, I could have gone even slower.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it is great to just, totally to remind people, but he's human as well.
Exactly. And then this one, Sebastian Kienle swimming at a lovely resort just outside of Innsbruck. So, well, it's called the Schloss Llama. I probably pronounced that terribly. Do you know how to say?
I don't, but okay. I like the sound. Schloss makes me think of sort of splashing, getting in the water. Don't know.
But it just looks like an incredible resort and a lovely place to be swimming. So hopefully Sebastian's having a nice bit of downtime in the season. And
he can't help but still do a little bit of front crawl. It looks like quite a long pool actually, because I started off watching it. I was like, it's still going.
Yeah.
New filming venue. Never know.
Oh yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? And then finally, the Cape Epic has just finished over in South Africa, and I just love this river crossing here. How cool is that? You've got to have some technical skills, obviously,
and
just to stay on.
And be brave. I think you've got to commit, haven't you?
I would worry that as you're going across there, you'd be worrying so much about falling in the water, you'd probably fall in the water.
It's one of those you sort of, I guess. It's like riding a horse, you have to look at the distance, like where you're going to. But I mean, I can say that I would probably just get off and walk my bike over, but...
Well, some phenomenal races and events. Obviously, it's a multi-day event, the Cape Epic. It was 91 Songo Specialized that won both the men's and the women's events. Unfortunately, no notable triathletes in there this year. In the past, we've had Sebastian Kienle and Ben Hoffman in there, although they did have a bit of a crash and whatnot. But I mean, awesome race, and great to see it happening.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we're going to crack on with Tri News now, and we thought today we would be talking about the results of the big showdown of the year between Jan Frodeno and Gustav Iden. But we're not. Instead, we're talking about when it might happen. Yes, very sadly, Ironman California in Sacramento was cancelled, and it all looked a little bit of a mess out there, didn't it? I don't know if any of you guys saw anything on stories or anything over the weekend, but the weather was coming in and they were doing their utmost to try to still make it go ahead, weren't they? Yeah,
we saw a lot of the athletes speculating as whether it could go ahead. It just seemed unsafe. Trees were sideways. And we heard as it got closer to the event that the age group race was going to be adjusted and changed, but they were going to plough ahead with the pro race as normal, swim, bike, run. And even some of the pros were saying, I don't know if I want to do this. And Ironman made the call on the morning of the race, and I'm sure it must have been very hard for them, but a sensible decision. So they cancelled the race, and unfortunately that means no showdown between Gustav and Jan and Lionel.
And Lionel, can't forget Lionel.
However, we did spot on social media straight away that Gustav had booked flights over to Florida. So we could only
He was chasing the
but
sun.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it makes us think that Ironman Florida was then going to become a pro men's race, because before that it was only a female pro race. So they were going to shift the pro race over to there. And we haven't had an official press release through at the time of filming this, but it does seem that is the case, because even logging into the tracker, the Ironman tracker, there is now a male pro race on there. So Gustav sounds like he's going to do it, but is Jan? We're still yet to find out.
I reckon by the time the show goes out Wednesday, that we might well know, but we're just going to have to, expect what might happen. The only thing that throws a spanner in the works with Jan is the S-Grail. He's sort of invested a lot, he's promoted a lot, he's got a whole sort of media campaign behind it.
But I think we could forgive him. I mean, his job is to race.
Very true.
But I'm sure, I'll be disappointed going to the
Yeah, you won't get to have your fanboy moment.
I know,
with
making some latte with him and stuff.
Oh. You'll just have to lead the S-Grail for him. There we go, solution.
Well, moving on, we've got some slightly sad news. Igor Polyansky, who finished 43rd in Tokyo at the Olympic Triathlon and also 14th in the mixed team relay, has been suspended for 3 years after testing positive for the banned substance EPO.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he's got 3 years. Hopefully, if it would have been more, but it's sad, isn't it, whenever you hear that with the sport?
Yeah, definitely. Now, we spoke about this very soon after the Olympic Games. There was talk of an athlete testing positive in an out-of-competition test. He did obviously have the option to have his test B, his sample B being analysed, and he didn't do that. So,
well, I guess if you're guilty, at least put your hand up and kind of deal with it. On to some more positive news, but it does take a slightly kind of frustrating start to it. Imagine getting a world record, keeping it for quite a few months, and then having it taken away from you through no fault of your own. Well, that is what has happened to Yevlo, who set the half marathon women's world record with a time of a 63:43 at the Antrim Coast Half Marathon over in Ireland in August. And they've only just kind of discovered, or it's only just come to the fore, that it turned out to be 54 metres short. Now, I know you've done a marathon that was about 500 metres long, but even that probably didn't seem that much, but 54 metres, how frustrating.
Agonising. So she was the first woman to ever go sub 64, so quite a big milestone, and she was informed just on Friday ahead of actually taking part in the Valencia Half Marathon, which she was doing on the Sunday, I believe it was. And actually she seemed to just shrug it off and say, okay, that's annoying, but I'll just set a new world record this Sunday. Didn't quite go to plan, did it? No.
Well, she did, if you took away the winner who went even quicker. So yeah, it was won by Lesenbeck Gide, who has already got a few world records to her name, and she went an incredible 62:52. So you think the world record, in theory, previously was 64? I mean, that is a huge
absolutely
margin.
Phenomenal. So I don't think anyone can take anything away from Lesenbeck, but
we're hoping they double check the distance of that one. I mean, just going back to the 54 metres short, she ran 17 seconds under the 4 hours. So I reckon she could have done that distance in that time and still broken 4 hours. Well, no, like 4 minutes.
And if you had the clock there ahead of you,
but anyway, at least she's moved on. I think we should move on too. Last week, you might remember we talked about Big Dog's Backyard Ultra, which was still going on at the time, and we predicted the athletes would be finishing fairly soon, or at least the race would be finished, and yes, it has. It completed 85 hours after it started with a new winner and a new record for that amount of time. It was Harvey Lewis, who covered 354 miles. And the format, if you didn't watch it last week, is 4.1 mile loop, which you had to complete within the hour. So you could kind of take 55 minutes and just have a few minutes rest, or you could maybe go a bit quicker and have slightly longer rest. And they were, doing different tactics. During the day, it was over trails, and overnight it was on the road to make it slightly easier, I suppose you could call it. And it turned out that Harvey did actually have a group. 3 of them lasted until near to the end, and he was obviously the last man standing to take that record. But more impressively, he found out after the race that he actually completed most, or half of it at least, with a broken metacarpal. So he broke one of the bones in his hand from falling over the trail section towards the end of the day. He got a bit dehydrated, thought his hand hurt.
To be honest, that's probably the least of his worries and pain.
So much other pain, that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Of just like, if you can't notice that.
Does it interest you?
Do you know, I keep coming back to reading about it, but it's one of those things that, so you can sit in your sofa at home and go, oh, that sounds great. And as soon as you go and do, say, 12 hours of it, you'd just be like, why would I ever think that was great? Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I definitely had the moment going, that sounds really cool. And then I thought about it for a little bit longer and realised it's mental.
Yeah.
Well, on to another crazy endurance challenge. Rake Rattasep is over in Fuerteventura at the moment, doing his 60 iron distance triathlons in 60 days. And he is over a third of the way in. He's doing very well, although he has unfortunately had a few issues. On around day 14, I believe it is, he had a collision, a crash with a car. He is thankfully okay, but his bike was not. So he has resorted to using a hire bike. He didn't have the luxury of having a second bike there, which is the cost of it all, etc. So he's been using a hire bike whilst he awaited for a new frame to come out. Unfortunately, that hire bike, whilst it's been great for him to carry on, it isn't his normal position.
God,
so
yeah,
he's been slowly over time, I think, suffering from that kind of position that he's been holding on that bike. And it means that his run time has started to suffer a little bit consequently. He has fortunately got a new frame out there now. He's now awaiting parts to be fitted onto that. He's got a mechanic coming over from Estonia to build it up for him. So fantastic team around him making this happen. So yeah, keep going, right?
Yeah, oh, it's so gutting, isn't it? When, you know, you expect it to be something of your body that's going to limit you, and it is, but as a result of something that wasn't in your control. And I think that's got to be so frustrating. So fingers crossed that, yeah, you can carry on and get back on track and get that momentum back as well.
Definitely. Well, moving on, the Xterra World Championships have been given the green light to go ahead. They are taking place on the 5th of December in Maui. Obviously, they were pushed back from their normal date, but they are now combining it with the Xterra Trail World Championships on Maui too. They've changed some of the regulations a little bit for the events. They've got less athletes taking part and so on, and just the entry requirements. Although hopefully they will ease more so as we go into December.
But I think also, I don't know whether it's confirmed, but it's definitely rumoured that Flora Duffy's going to be there racing, and potentially Hayden Wild as well. So it could be some really, you know, top pro racing, and hopefully some top age group racing too. Now, finally, for Tri News, there was one event that did go ahead in California this weekend, and that was the Herbalife LA Triathlon. And it was a significant race for a certain age grouper, Jordan Hunter. Now, I was very lucky to grab a call with him to find out why.
Well, yeah, my first question is more of a why. Why do you think triathlon has this sort of lack of diversity? What's going on with triathlon, do you think?
Yeah, I think that the first thing that got me into it was having a background in swimming. And I feel like a lot of people don't always have the access or generational blessings or motivations to go into it because of swimming, because of the traumatices that surround it. For myself and my community in the African American in the United States, we still make up 69% of people who can't swim. So, you know, and 1 out of 5 children under the age of 15 are a product or unfortunate of drowning. So, you know, a lot of times we're not going to do something if we don't know how to do it. And secondly, it's just access. You know, when you get up to the big triathlons and like the larger scales, I mean, these bikes are getting up to cars, like car payments. I mean, $10,000, $20,000 bikes. And so it could just be discouraging to somebody that's, you know, willing to want to do it, and they have to pay a couple $100s to even get in the race. And then they have to get a bike, and then, you know, and then the real world hits you, and it's like, wow, I'm trying to pay for 3 different sports and work and, you know, other things that could factor into it. So honestly, it's just access and exposure.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think so many of our viewers will relate to all of those points. You know, triathlon is known for being a very kind of middle class sport that is expensive to, even if you've got all the kit, you know, you can scrounge the kit and borrow the kit. It's expensive for the amount of time you need to train, and that takes away time you could be doing a job and your family. So yeah, it's a constant balance. But the bit I'm most interested about is what you're up to, and what are you actually doing with your kind of team behind you with trying to make a difference?
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, I went into a cold turkey, was super excited. It got pushed back due to the cooties, also known as COVID. It got pushed back 8 months, and then it got pushed back to 2021. So that just gave me a lot more time to not only train for it, but then also other people whom I was in run clubs with and things like that. They're like, wow, like, what is this thing, a triathlon? I was like, oh man, you know, it's swim, bike, and run. Well, hey, I kind of know how to swim. And just learning that, built that traction around, I own a business called Say It Loud. And really what that is just access and exposure for Black creatives, Black mentors to gain Black mentees, people just understanding that you can do a lot more than what's publicized to the popularity. And from that, I created Say It Loud's legacy, under the Say It Loud Corporation. And what that was and what that is just being the first to do something. And for a lot of people whom we just did the Herbalife 24 LA triathlon out here, it was their first time doing an endurance sport. It was their first time doing a triathlon. And it was the first time being somewhere around something like that. And so it's just building the pipeline. I teach people to swim. They get excited about doing the swim. And then I'm like, hey, there's a mile swim competition or there's a pool. And now they're like, well, I can already run if I could just find a bike. And there it is. You know, we're just planting the seeds to get the pipeline into the triathlon. So super excited. I got to publicly brag about it. One of the teams that I put together, they took 3rd place overall out of the relays. So it was a beautiful thing to see that just because what you couldn't do didn't eliminate you from the race, but what you could do, it like pushed you. So the cyclist that couldn't swim, the runner that, you know, doesn't have access to a bike, and then the swimmer that, you know, just doesn't want to run, you know, hey, we're going to come together like the Wonder Twins and become the super triplet. And so it was just a beautiful thing this weekend. Yeah,
exciting times. Awesome. Well, you're doing some incredible stuff. We'll keep an eye on Herbalife next year and in the next 5 years as well. Fingers crossed. We'll see someone going pro. It'd be amazing. Thank you so much, John.
Okay, now moving on to What the Tech. Now you've seen us running as fast as we possibly can over a mile in a pair of Crocs. How do you fancy seeing us cycling in Crocs? Now, after our video went out about a month or so ago now, a lot of people have sent me this over the past few weeks. Now, these are Crocs modified for cycling with cleats in them. They come from Velcro Studios, which is a brand set up by Alex Velcro. He's a 3-time bike polo champion. But rather than making his shoes, he always buys notable branded shoes like Vans, Adidas, Nikes, etc., and then builds clipless pedals into them. I've got to say, they're a lot more pro than the clipless shoes that I made with the Ons way back in lockdown.
Yeah, just how are these working for you? Have you done any duathlons this season?
No, I've got to say they haven't been used since. They've definitely been reinforced. They've got this recessed cleat into them. I mean, and anyone out there doubting Crocs, even Lachlan Morton used them for his alternative tour, where he essentially did the Tour de France all on his own in Crocs because he had problems with his knees.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think before you know it, you're going to be an ambassador for Crocs. I'm not sure what On will say about that, but...
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, before all of this, I used to hate Crocs, but I'm kind of coming around to them. They're not bad.
You have to be. You are the face on GTN for them anyway, because I'm afraid I've yet to be spotted wearing a pair of Crocs, so might keep it that way. Anyway, another piece of news we've only just spotted, actually, over on social media. It's been teased by Jan Frodeno and Lucy Charles-Barkley. There's some new app that is just being launched to answer your questions. We don't know much more about it at the moment, but a few of the pros are jumping on there, and you often see pros doing Q&As on their Instagram, which is quite fun to sort of watch and hear their thoughts on things, which is free. This sadly isn't, but it'd be interesting to see what it's about.
Yeah, what's your first question going to be to them?
I need to think of it actually being a question, but it's definitely along the lines of latte art. But that's going to Jan, not Lucy. Sorry, Lucy, but I think your latte art.
What are you saying about Lucy's latte art?
She says it about herself.
Okay,
it's got room for improvement. I think even today she posted something about she's better swimming than she is at her latte art, which, I mean, that's quite a spectrum there.
Okay, I thought you were judging her without her saying it. Anyway, moving on, James has started the Zwift Triathlon Academy, as have I, actually. I've just joined in for the fun of it to help him along.
That's and so keep kind him of you.
I know. But no, he's getting stuck in, and you guys can too. The Zwift Triathlon Academy has launched. You can join at any point along the line, but you basically need to do a baseline test at the start, both on the bike and the run, and then track your progress. And here is James and myself getting stuck into that baseline test.
So, day one of the Zwift Triathlon Academy, and so far, not going particularly well. Today we're supposed to be doing our 40 kilometer baseline TT on the bike, and I ran out to get some cookies because I was worried about bonking in the middle of it and running out of energy, and I missed the start.
Shocking.
Yeah, so I've
you're here for support.
Yeah, I'm just doing moral support, kind of spinning the legs. So I'm going to join the next event and get this baseline done because I've left Mark hanging now on his ace. Keep it up, Mark. Come on. Why are you sweating so much?
You'll find out. Yikes, I forgot how painful those kind of efforts are. So 40K, 316 watts average, which I should be pleased with. I think we're probably both the same here. We hang on to the numbers that we used to push out, and you can't help but be a bit disappointed with what you do that nowadays. But in honesty, that's quite good. I'm pleased.
I'd be quite impressed with that. I'd be happy if I can hold that 56 minutes 16 for his 40Ks. To be honest, I think you set the benchmark quite high. I don't know how he's going to improve in 8 weeks' time. He's going to have to work really hard in these interlead in 8 weeks. But there's a whole bunch of sessions for him to do.
I'm looking forward to it. I do think I can improve that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into sessions. I did notice you have eaten all your cookies. Was this tactical?
Yeah, I purposely missed the start and I've had a chance to eat all my cookies. I've saved one.
And a bit of a warm-up.
I've saved one for afterwards. But yeah, Mark's going to move out the way now. My start is coming up in a little while and then I'm going to get mine done. That was hard. Well, I can improve on that in 8 weeks, that's for sure. Well, still the run to come. Time to do a 10K run time trial now. Zwift Triathlon Academy is a go. We have done the baseline tests, bike and run, so 40K time trial on the bike, and Mark did 56.16 for 40Ks.
316 watts.
Yeah, and I was a whole 11 seconds slower than him.
It's like you knew what my time was and you were trying to beat it.
Yeah, but I failed, unfortunately, so I've got a bit of work to do on that. And then on the 10K run, I did 35.04 and Mark did
33.34.
You fast, huh? It's going to take some improving. He's going to have his work cut up for him in the next 6 to 8 weeks as he does those sessions. So we've got a whole bunch of sessions to do, and then we're going to do a finish line test where we try and improve on those.
But I got to say, although, yeah, I've posted a good time, I'm excited that I've posted a good time and I really do want to improve it. So I'm going to get stuck into these sessions.
Yeah, challenged. We're both challenged to actually improve on those times. We gave it some, we didn't hold back. So we are going to have to do the work to improve on those times, which was the whole point.
Yeah, and on that note, we will be letting you know when we are doing some of the sessions. If you want to ride along or run along with us, then please do, because we are going to need that motivation. And also we'd love to motivate you guys out there too. So do get stuck in and let's cheer James along on the way as he gets his fitness back.
See you in Watopia.
Okay, now moving on to the race news, and the big race this weekend was Ironman 70.3 Portugal. On the men's side, we had quite a few of the ITU stars stepping over and giving it a go, including Johnny Brownlee and Aaron Royal. The winner, though, was Magnus Ditlev that put in, as usual, a phenomenal bike performance, and then he was chased down by Aaron Royal on the run. Unfortunately, Aaron ran out of ground and it was Magnus that took the win. Aaron Royal took second with a 1:11 half marathon run split, and then Menno Koolhaas took third. Johnny Brownlee, not maybe the performance we were expecting in a 70.3. He finished in 6th, but potentially coming off an end of season break.
Yeah.
Would cut him a bit of slack.
Yeah, I know there was quite a lot of excitement and hype around him racing, wasn't there? But he doesn't really care about that. I think he's just going to go and experience it.
Exactly.
Well, the women's race actually had a first ever win for Marjolaine Pierre from France. It was her first win over this distance. Louisa Baptista was 2nd, and then Julie Deron of Switzerland was 3rd. And Lucy Hall finished 5th, which doesn't sound impressive, but it does when you look at her racing schedule. So she has raced 4 weekends in a row, 4 70.3s in a row. And her post did actually say the wheels fell off. I mean, she still ran a 1:31.5 at the end, but sadly that wasn't enough to get her on the podium because the other 3 times she's been on the podium. So impressive racing. And I think it's just great seeing the pros and some age groups just getting everyone's excited to be back. And we're seeing so much great racing as a result as well.
Absolutely. Well, another exciting race that happened this weekend was the Herbalife 24 triathlon in Los Angeles. It was Olympic distance triathlon. It was Vincent Louis that took the win there ahead of Ben Knut and Mickey Tarkholt in 3rd.
Well, the women's race was won by Emma Pallant-Brown, who seems to be really sort of coming to form this year. She beat Amy Sloan, who was 2nd, and Heather Jackson 3rd, and then Rinny Carfrey in 4th. And she said she was slightly disappointed, but she's got sort of quite a lot of racing still planned, and I think she's still building back after having her 2nd child. So good to see her back, sort of mixing it up at the top. Yeah,
we're moving over to some off-road racing. Xterra Malta, which is a race we've both done, a very tough course, or at least we thought so. Maybe they're probably all tough.
The pros cruised over it, I'm sure.
The winners were Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen on the men's side, and the women's was Morgan Rue. On to the PTO World Rankings. Now, obviously, we were hoping to tell you
who was
going to be the leader in the men's rankings between Gustav and Jan. Fortunately, we can't do that just yet. It is still Gustav. But we do have Ironman 70.3 Oceanside this coming weekend with a few big players in there. Again, Emma Pallant-Brown is going to be racing. She is in 6th currently. Jenny Metzler is in 7th and Paula Finlay in 10th. So there could be a bit of a shake-up happening there. On the men's side, we've got Ben Knut, who's in 8th, and Sam Appleton, who's in 13th. So a little bit more between those, but could be an exciting weekend of racing.
Yeah, I really think the PTO ranking is a plus the fact of lockdown is just giving us a really great end of season or whatever you call this time of year.
Definitely.
It's super exciting.
And it's worth pointing out this means a lot to the athletes because there is a big bonus at the end of it. Yeah, exactly, and it's bringing a lot to the sport, so it is very exciting. Okay, now to take a look through some of your photos, videos that you sent through to us. And don't forget, you can send in any of yours using our photo upload. Links on screen right now or in the description just down below. Start off, we've got a lovely bike sent through from Dean. It's a Venge Vias from Bishop Stropford. And he says he's just heading out for a steady 40 miler. Very nice S-Works there with an S-Works helmet as well. Looks very smart.
Yeah, it looks like he's making the most of the autumn.
He's also got his name on there.
Oh wow,
Very pro.
You did zoom in close, nice.
Look at that.
That looks a very clean bike. I'm hoping it's still like that after the weekend of riding if you did get out. Another one here, we're going down to the sunnier part of the world in South Africa. This has been sent in by Jenny, and she's actually Jenny Longlegs on Instagram, because I was looking at his pictures like, these are familiar. She has done the Knysna Western Cape, and she says they don't call it extreme for nothing. Listen to this for the distances, a 5K choppy swim, battling a strong current, 174k cycle with almost 3,000 meters of climbing and lots of gusts, and then a 51k gravel road run with 1,000 meters of climbing, more wind and freezing rain. Okay, maybe it wasn't so sunny down there then. I mean, the pictures look just beautiful.
Also, I mean, I know she's a good athlete. And 5K is a long way, but it took her an hour 44. So that puts into perspective how hard that swim must have been.
God, that's a long time to be spent sort of battling and then to get out and do 170 odd K on the bike, doesn't it? I've actually run in Knysna. I did a half marathon there, but it was a beautiful, hot, lovely day. So I can't really relate to any of these extreme levels of triathlon.
Yeah. Well, moving on, Andreas, who was taking part, obviously, in the 70.3 in Portugal, has sent through a lovely photo of his Canyon Speed Max and himself posing beside the Cascade Ironman sign. He said he's got his bike prepared on the balcony with a view over the start beach and the finish line. He's very much embracing the Jan Frodeno Rise On look with the Canyon Speed Max. He's gone fully in on that.
Subtle, but we like it. And how beautiful does Portugal look? I saw loads of photos after the weekend and it just looks stunning down there, doesn't it?
It really does. Don't forget, You can send in your own photos, things you're getting up to. Use that photo upload link on screen right now or in the description just down below.
And now it's on to our caption competition. And last week we had this photo of a very early swim start. And we've got a few suggestions to get us started. This one from Beck Mango. If we find the ring now, we won't have to tell your wife.
Luke Palombo. Hey guys, are you sure this is where our transition point is?
The Dom Louis. My contact lens popped out near here.
And then the winner, Adam Locke. Mum's gonna kill me if I don't find her car keys.
Nice and traditional, we like it. Well done, Adam. Do get in touch and we'll send a GTN cap out to you.
But moving on to this week's caption comp photo, it's from Ironman 70.3 Duisburg, which is in Germany.
We'll find out how many German viewers we have, won't we, when, when you get corrected on that one.
Well, do your best. Leave your captions in the comment section down below.
Yeah, and that is it for this week's show. But we've got a couple of fun videos, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing. So hopefully you guys will enjoy. We've got a little Halloween special for you coming out on the 31st, obviously. Something along the lines of a prison break, and we got up to some fun with that one. We've also got another video looking at calories and exactly what a calorie is.
Yeah, don't forget you can head on over to the GTN shop, get hold of a load of our merch, including the new bike kits that you will start seeing in some of our videos at the moment. Very cool to get a new colourway of that.
So. I love the colour.
Yeah, so make sure you head on over there, including women's fit as well. And if you've enjoyed today's show, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Don't forget to hit the globe and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you haven't done so already, check out James and myself heading on over to London, doing a mega ride just to get to London, but also around London to check out the sites on our Great British Adventure, and also how to run 10K non-stop.